Hi there, and welcome to this short video on the AgilePoint AI Control Tower. Over the course of this video, we're going to show you how the control tower can help improve the execution of an insurance claim process. So over the next 10 minutes or so, what you're going to see is AgilePoint's AI Control Tower automatically invoked to handle exceptions, to improve the process execution, and to generally mass customize how these processes run. So with that being said, let's jump into the designer and show you how things work. First, let's get started by taking a look at our application in design mode. So here I am in AgilePoint's composable process orchestration builder, where I have more than 1,200 abstracted and reusable building blocks to compose my end-to-end application. eForms for any time I need user participation, and more than 120 systems that I can integrate without expert skill sets. So before we talk about the control towers, let's first run through the happy path flow. Our insurance claim process is going to start by one of our customers having an accident and calling in to the call center, where our call center agent is going to capture initial details about the incident, things like accident description, time, location. And then from here, we're going to flow externally back to our customer, where they're going to provide a more detailed description around the accident. And this is going to use AgilePoint's anonymous user capability that allow us to bring external participants into a process. From here, it will flow to the claims handler, where they'll determine whether we have enough information for the claim to move forward. Down to the claim assessor, where their major decision point is whether we need to bring in a field officer for an inspection. We have a claims approver, and if appropriate, further down, payment disbursement. But as we mentioned at the top of the video, we have a number of different AI agents, both the governing agents that you're seeing here, as well as an inline agent, to help improve the execution of this process. We have a claims analyzer agent, which is going to analyze the initial and more detailed description and look for any discrepancies. We have an image classification agent, which is going to look at damage the vehicle has sustained. And then those two agents will work together to feed their inputs to our fraud predictive agent. And in the case of fraud, you'll see this agent adapting the flow by inserting a step that was not present at design time. So all of these agents working together to improve the execution of the flow and bring all of their insights into one place. In opening up my claims portal, I'm greeted with a dashboard showing me claims broken down by status, all of which delivered by AgilePoint's analytics package, as well as page builder. But let's go ahead and open up a new claim. Playing the role of the call center employee, I would like to retrieve their policy ID from our policy management system. And as you might expect, under this policy, we have 2 vehicles and 2 drivers. Next, we'll capture the details of the accident, including the date and time, location, and initial description. The police were contacted. We have 2 witnesses. And of course, the third party involved in the accident. Any prior claim history. And then lastly, we'll just leave a comment before we open up our new claim. Okay, so our claim has now been opened, which means as a next step, I'm going to assume the role of the customer to provide additional details around the accident and supply images of any damage to my vehicle. Okay, so let's go over to my inbox. So as the customer, I've just received an email with all of the relevant information, including my claim ID and a link to provide additional information. So at the top, I can attach images of the damage to my vehicle. And what I'll do here is attach an image showing damage to the front of my vehicle. Down below, I can provide a more detailed description of the accident. And what I'd like to do here is just introduce some conflict. Earlier on, we indicated damage to the front of the vehicle, but here, as a part of the detailed description, I'm going to indicate damage to the back of the vehicle. So some pretty key conflicts here in the various descriptions provided. So now that our customer has provided additional information, I'm going to open up our process tracker so we can follow along. So what's now happening behind the scenes is the various agents are completing their work. Our text or LLM-based agent is going to analyze the initial and more detailed description of the accident. Our image classification agent is going to look at the uploaded image and correctly classify where damage was sustained to the vehicle. And then those two agents will feed their insights into our final predictive agent, who will make a determination for the likelihood of fraud. So looking at our Happy Path visualizer here, it shows that there is a currently active step with the claims handler. Now that being said, if I go back into my task list and refresh it, we're going to see that there are two currently active steps, not just for the claims handler, but that also a fraud alert has been raised. Now, because of this, we've actually paused all of those downstream steps in the workflow, such that if I were to try to open the claims handler step, I'm going to be warned that there is fraud likely in this claim and that our typical processing has been stopped. So as you can see here, I have a pop-up as well as a warning on the form itself. So if we go back, let's go ahead and handle our exception. So what we're going to see here is all of the insights uncovered by our various AI agents all in one place. Our image classification agent has correctly identified that there is damage to the front of the vehicle. Our text agent is looking for key conflicts between the initial and more detailed description. And as you can see here, it's found those conflicts. And our next tab brings us to the process adaptation. Now, what the control tower is doing here for governance and control purposes is bringing a human into the loop who can either accept or reject the suggested adaptation to our process. But bear in mind that the control tower can also take these actions autonomously as well. So what I'd like to do here is insert a step for the investigation team. I'm going to assign it to myself, and I want to keep the lock on all of the other steps in our process until the investigation team has completed their work. So what we've effectively done here is deviate from the typical processing. So as a result, AgilePoint brings us an adaptive orchestration monitor to show the actual path that a process has taken. So whenever AI is invoked into the process, it's going to be fully audited and capture all of the relevant data. But as you're seeing here on screen, our claims handler step is still paused, but we have dynamically inserted a new step into the process for the investigation team that did not exist during design time. So let's go ahead and open up that task that's been newly inserted. So here's our task for the investigation team. And again, as an investigator, I have access to all of the insights from our various agents. Now here, under AI analysis, as an investigator, I can use my expertise to investigate these conflicts and provide further feedback for model retraining. So I have taken an offline action to validate the police report, and here I can determine where this process goes forward. If this is a fraud scenario, I can go ahead and reject the claim and end the process, or I can choose to move things forward to the claims assessor and essentially resume the normal processing. So what we're going to see here is now the ability to pick up the claims handler step. To save some time, I open that task from our process viewer. Now here, as the claims handler, we do have enough information for this process to continue forward. So I'll select send for processing. And if we go back to our tracker, what we're going to see here is that the claim assessor step is now active. Now here, my big decision point is, do I need to bring in a field officer for an inspection? And if so, you'll see AgilePoint automatically recommend the best garage and the best inspection officer based on the type of damage the vehicle has sustained. Okay, so bringing us to the assessment officer stage, we're going to go ahead and bring in a physical inspection. And as promised, based on the location of the accident and the type of damage, AgilePoint has recommended the best body shop and field officer for that inspection. So we'll go ahead and submit this. And as a result, we're going to see our customer receive an email telling them where they should bring their vehicle for the inspection. All right, so here's my email. So as the customer, I've just received an email telling me where I should be taking my vehicle for the physical inspection. And this is where we're going to end this particular process. Just to recap, I hope this gives you an idea of how AgilePoint's AI Control Tower framework can act as governing agents that control the process flow, that optimize it, and automatically handle exceptions. Thank you so much for watching. Until next time.